Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Today's tip is find like-minded people. No, I'm not saying put yourself in an echo chamber, but okay, so for example, I do Shipt. For those of you who don't know, Shipt is kind of like Instacart. I shop for people's groceries and deliver them. And I delivered to the nicest lady today. She gave very clear directions. She was in an apartment complex. So normally you just get like the address, but even in the note, she said, this is my building. This is the door. This is the buzzer you hit. And, buzz and I'll let you in, because some places you have to have like a gate code, and you get there and you're like, huh? And like, they're like, oh, well, just come in. And I'm like, I can't. There's a gate here. I'm not going to climb the gate with, 3 cases of water, two 6-packs of soda, and, yada, yada, yada. So she was very helpful in that sense, and it was very clear and easy to get there. Then I got there, and she was so grateful. I mean, I carry cold stuff in an insulated bag. She's close enough that if I'd had a double order, I would have put hers in the non-insulated probably. But she said that it was nice. Not only was it insulated, she's like, you don't smell like smoke. I'm like, oh no, I'm like, I don't take my bags into smoky areas. I don't like to go into smoky areas. And I said, the other day I had to tell the guy, I'm sorry, I'm asthmatic. I can't come near you, because he was smoking. And, so this incredibly nice lady, very communicative. So, if any, very polite. I didn't have to wait when things were out to have a response. Some people will leave you wait like 20 or 30 minutes, and then they'll be like, why didn't you give me time? Ma'am, I gave you 30 minutes. It was the first thing on the list. But, very, very kind. And we had this thing in common. And this thing in common was that we don't like cigarette smoke. She doesn't like it as a customer. She doesn't like it that, when the driver smokes with her food and stuff in the car, which makes sense, especially because like some people order things like home goods, like towels and blankets and stuff. And so she appreciated that I wasn't a smoker, and I appreciated that it was, really easy to drop off, and that I wasn't entering a smoky environment. One day, oh my gosh, I went to drop off, and the lady opened her door and just seriously, like, marijuana smoke wafted it out. I'm like choking on it because I'm allergic. And I'm thinking, oh my God, am I even safe to drive? Did I get a contact high? I mean, because I have such a negative reaction, I then have to like breathe after I get out, and it takes me some time to recover because I get chest pains because I struggle to breathe with it. But the thing is that when you do that, like, that person has to get in a car and drive, and you're, essentially giving them a contact high. So anyways, I digress. Anyways, though, she then, because we had that conversation, we were like-minded, and she's really nice. She requested me as a preferred shopper. I agreed. So now we have that like connection. And so then that's somebody who, when they order, it'll be really easy for me because I already know what they like and we get along, and I'm not going to have to worry about entering a smoke-filled area. She doesn't have to worry about having smoke-filled bags. So that factor that we have that thing in common, we may have tons more in common, we have nothing else in common, but the factor that we have that thing in common makes our relationship, our working relationship, easier. And so even something as small as that can help. Now with frugality, it's even more important, because the thing is if all your friends are I want to spend, I want to go, I want to do this, then it's going to be a lot harder to do stuff. If all of your friends always want to go out to the bar or club or go out to dinner or, go do something expensive, then that's going to be tough. Now, if they want to go to the beach, like the free beach, and just like chill for the day and enjoy the sand and the water and the sun and the nature, then that's great because that's a frugal activity. If they want to go to the beach and then go to the bar on the beach and rent the chairs on the beach and get ice cream at the beach, then that's not going to align with frugal values. That's going to be a lot of spending. And I mean, if you want to do that like for a special thing, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, like, look at that. Like, for me, I just kind of like, all of my friends like to go out to eat. That was just kind of always what we did. And I just kind of like gradually stopped hanging out with people because I couldn't afford to just go out to eat all the time. And now that I have been on this like whole weight loss journey, I've just kind of been like, when people want to go out and everything, I'm like, I'd love to hang out, but can we go for a walk? Because I don't eat at restaurants. And it's helped me to realize that I could have probably done this years ago. I could have probably said, hey, can we do this free activity instead of going out to eat? And people probably would have been okay with it. They may have actually appreciated it. We're all broke spending money to hang out when we could have been hanging out for free. Again, one of the best years of my life was the first year I moved out in the ugliest apartment, no TV, where we all just hung out at my place all the time. It was great. So finding like-minded people, finding people who are also frugal, who aren't going to be like, well, why can't we do this? Or why don't you want to spend? Or, who are making fun of you because, moths are coming out of your wallet or whatever. But the thing is that I am cheap with some things, but I'm not cheap in a stingy way. I'm not the stiff my server. I'm not the I won't pay my fair share girl. I'm not going to waste money and go out and spend money I don't have. I don't want to go out to eat or go to an expensive activity. I would rather save my money if I don't have that money to spend, because I'm really planning for a rather expensive activity. I have a very harebrained scheme that I'm saving up for. And we'll see if it happens. But like-minded people, other people who are frugal, other people who can find the fun in going to the park or going on a picnic instead of going to a restaurant. People who realize that hanging out doesn't mean spending money every time. I mean, my parents used to have friends over all the time and do stuff all the time. We go to their houses, they came to our houses. I mean, get-togethers were a huge thing in the 80s. I mean, probably before that too, but I don't know. And now they're not. Now everything, I remember birthday parties in the 80s with the pin the tail on the donkey, and a cake that, sometimes it was store-bought, sometimes I was lucky. I was a spoiled brat. I got bakery cakes. Mainly because I had an aunt who made amazing cakes for me when I was little, and it set a precedent. And then when she quit making cakes, I was all like upset. And then I saw like this teddy bear cake where it was like a 3D standing up teddy bear, and I had to have it for like 3 to 5 years in a row. I had that cake, and I'm sure it was a pain to transport too. because it was like the bakery is like 15-20 minutes from our house. But I also, I mean, hot dogs and those stinking Hugs barrels or whatever, those like little juice barrels that we had, that were so incredibly overly sweet, like so sweet it burns. Um, and ice cream. I remember we just had like the old fashioned, like the box ice cream where, like, you rip the thing and it opens up. But some of my friends had the bucket of ice cream, and I just thought the bucket was so cool. And just simple cake and ice cream, and like and games. Like, I remember I used to love that game where you like stood on a chair and you dropped clothespins, like not the kind of clothespins with the metal that like open, but like the kind that like are just like have the slit, and you dropped them into a jar and tried to get them in. I loved it. I loved the sound it made. That made me so happy. Or Bozo buckets. Like, it was simple. Now people are like, hey, we're going to have a kids party, and, not just Chuck E. Cheese, it's going to be this like $1,000 extravaganza. Like, nobody does anything just cheap anymore. And I grew up and everything was done more affordably. So find like-minded people who want to get back to that. Find people who want to come over and play cards, or who want to shop sales with you, or who want to go for a walk, who want to have a picnic instead of go out to eat, who get excited about deals. Find people who are also frugal. Because when you're the only frugal one in the bunch, everybody's just, you feel like you're kind of making everybody appease you. But when everybody's frugal, it just feels like a normal thing. And so find other like-minded people, find other frugal people, so that being frugal is just normal for you. It feels normal. It feels normal to meet at the park instead of go to Starbucks. It feels normal to do these affordable frugal activities. Make frugal normal by finding like-minded people. Anyways, again, my name is Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.